3-3.
Ever from esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a wall. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga 4 is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick under Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. They need to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
The temperatures are rising outside, and so too has the heat risen in the CGL Season 17 NA Masters tier. We find ourselves at the start of the postseason with a fantastic Winners Round 1 match between UTD Zenith and the Fallen Vortex. To guide you through this epic clash, it's HD Philly B and the smooth and cool Shadow Fang. Playoff Shadow, we're certainly talking about him now.
Yeah, I'm always excited when it comes playoff time here in CGL, especially when we're talking about the Masters tier, which it's definitely our biggest tier. Some games will end up being not that competitive, but I don't think this is one of those games. These are 2 teams that, really hovered around the middle of the pack in their respective groups, haven't played each other, but like I said, one of them finished 4th in their group, UTD Zenith, and Fallen Vortex finished 5th in their group. So, very similar finishes in the standings.
But how they got here, a little bit different, right? Zenith on a 3-game win streak, where Fallen Vortex on a 2-game losing streak. So let's see if their mental is set. But we also have to see the path forward. So let's take a look at the bracket to see where we stand in this Winners Round 1. We want to take a look at just the top side of the bracket. This is double elimination Shadow, of course. Now, the winner of this set here will move on to face the Cosmic Eclipse, and that's going to be a tough match for anybody who comes out of this one.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, those teams got to bye for good reason. They're the top teams in their group. But, I mean, of the top tier teams, that's probably the one you'd want to play the most, Cosmic Eclipse, because Shoes Production Crew, Unwoke Yaoi Enthusiast, Dire Triggers, all been insanely good. So I mean, this is probably the best draw you could have had going into round number 2, honestly.
Okay, well, they've got to get through one another first, so this is what we're here to do, fans of the CGL, as the playoffs are now started. Not only have the playoffs started, but it's Season 2 of Overwatch. Sierra not allowed in the playoffs here. She is pretty good right now, tracking everybody. But, you know, with some of the characters shifting around, Shadow, is there anything that you think we're going to see?
I mean, the only real thing that I think was majorly impactful from this last set of patches, that we got, was really just the Vendetta nerfs. I think Vendetta is gonna be removed from being played as much, and I think we're gonna shift more into like a Zarya Reaper style combo. Maybe teams go with a Zarya Genji if they want some more of that mobility. We could see more potentially like Echo with the D.Va as opposed to run that Vendetta with the D.Va as well. I really like Echo Tracer going with a D.Va. I think it's a really solid combo right now and really underrated because Echo is kind of difficult to play, if I'm honest, but if you have two players that are capable of running that DPS duo, I think it's a really good one.
100%. And Emre, we've seen banned a number of times from both of these teams in previous matches, so maybe they'll take the Turkish Soldier out of this one, play the Echo, but only time will tell. here in the playoffs, the map situation is different. Yes, we still go to control, but the higher seeded team gets to pick the map. So Rhino, let's pull up and see what it is, unveil it for you. I think, Shadow, you want to see Lijiang Tower, but it will be Nepal instead.
All right, that's very surprising, honestly. Like, it's so consistent that Lijiang Tower gets picked, like, always first, that it's very surprising to see anything different. Yeah, I gotta be honest. And this leads me to believe UTD Zenith must have some sort of just preference on this map where they like playing a particular composition more than just the stereotypical we're just gonna run it down mid on Lijiang Tower and have run our brawl comps.
And that's what I was gonna say. I feel like does Zarya Reaper kind of fit into this Nepal, like all the sub maps, Village, Sanctum, whatever. I don't know. I think, yeah, it maybe lends itself to Lijiang a little bit more, but Zarya certainly playable on these maps. Maybe the Malga, we've seen a lot of those teams go for the Samoan Warrior as well.
Yeah, I think Malga's a solid pick. I think Ramatra's in a good spot. Orisa is pretty solid as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of the tanks are pretty playable at the moment, and especially with Vendetta getting nerfed, I feel like a lot of the Zarya play wasn't based on Zarya. It was based on the fact that you could enable your Vendetta more. So we could see teams opt away from the Zarya since Vendetta isn't as strong too.
Well, we've talked about what characters we might see, but let's get into the characters we won't see. It's time for the bans. Each team will be able to select one character from one of the different levels, right? Whether it's damage, whether it's tank, whether it's support. And we don't even get to guess this time. I know, Shadow, you always got the crystal ball, but it will be the Sojourn and the Ramatra taken off the board.
Yeah, it's a really interesting choice for me, honestly. I'm not exactly sure. I understand the Sojourn pick. That's like a stereotypical, hey, let's just get rid of this character. It's map 1 type pick. The Ramatra I find a lot more fascinating because I think you can deal with Ramatra relatively easily. You were just talking about Malga. I think Ramatra just folds into like a tiny piece of paper if you run a Malga comp into the Ramatra. Like, there's nothing that can be done. You can hold your hands up as much as you want to. If the Samoan just comes and stomps on you, that's pretty much it for you.
Definitely difficult. And I wonder, because Zenith had the higher seed, they got to choose the ban order. So I wonder if they chose ban first to just get the Sojourn out and maybe save Emre or another character that they want to play in that DPS role. Whereas Fallen Vortex just kind of going for the tank, just getting something out there to try to hamstring the opposite side. So a lot of different things, but we have to see, Shadow, which players will be in the server today. We have our rosters now available. A ton of fun players, a ton of great players. We'll check out Zenith's roster first.
All right, and here's Zenith coming up right now. We've got Wild Card and Hi You Are Good running that DPS line. Colonel Sanders going to be on the tank. And then we got Hoodair and Suwail going to be on that support line.
And maybe that's why the Ramatra, well, they banned the Ramatra actually, so that makes sense, right? Maybe they want to take that away from Colonel Sanders, make sure that he's not finger-licking good out there on the Ramatra. So we will see it. I know you were hyped to have Hi You Are Good in the server, so that got me excited. I want to see what this player's got, but we have to check out the roster for the opposite side, see what Zenith is going up against, and it will be the Fallen Vortex team. Let's pull them up.
All right, and there you go. We've got Geo and Griffin running that DPS line. Brooke going to be on that tank with Wabi Sabi and Theory going to be on that support line. And, I mean, if my memory serves me right from watching their previous game, I remember Wabi Sabi being like a really strong support player.
100%. She is incredible at staying alive and is that main support. She's playing the Kiriko, the Baptiste, right? Really dumping in the heals where it allows Theory to free up themselves to play the Lucio or the Zenyatta, the Iliadi, and just do that damage, kind of use the utility that off support is known for. So a great tandem that Fallen Vortex has in the back line.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely got to agree with you there. And, I mean, I'm just going to be really curious to see what these teams run. I wonder if anybody's going to run Symmetra, because I do think Symmetra's really good, but I feel like we've seen no teams really try and utilize that style of composition. And I think especially with Ramatra being banned, I think it becomes increasingly more difficult to deal with a Symmetra because you can't just punch in that general direction, and you might eventually kill Symmetra.
Very challenging indeed. The teams are about to get ready and get rumbling. So we'll see what sub-map we are headed to as we fly to Nepal. But we'll take one final look here of the matchups between these squads. There's going to be a lot on these two tank players going at it. Of course, it always is spotlighted, but I think just the way that maybe these two teams want to play, those are going to be the focal points.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. I mean, just based on what we're looking at right here, it looks like Fallen Vortex, just based on their favorite hero choices, prefers those more divey style compositions, whereas Zenith likes to play more of that brawl play style. And if that is the case, it makes the Ramatra ban by Fallen Vortex make way more sense to me, because Ram is just like the default, we're going to play brawl tank, this is what we're going to play, right? Anything outside of that becomes increasingly more difficult. And it appears to be the exact opposite of what I just thought it was, because Zenith appears to be running your stereotypical dive composition, and Vortex is going to be running the Zarya-based composition.
And, I was wondering if we would see more of this Brig on a backline now that Brig has more shielding in her kit. She's more sustainable. Her perks have been upgraded, things of that nature. But this is an unorthodox backline that we're seeing. And this is the Kiriko and the Ana mixed together, but not enough healing can go to Hi, Are You Good? They are not good as they're back in the spawn room early on in this.
Yeah, Emre grenades still do a lot of damage, and if you know a team is just going to be walking in there, you just kind of heave them there and hope something happens. Hey, the Tracer Echo has come out, though. Hi, You Are Good had enough of that Genji character already and has swapped over to the Echo.
I mean, but how does this play into the Emre? I feel like it's just a bird in the sky. You can clip the wings so easy. And this Gorilla might be getting their wings clipped as they are under duress. But Wild Card will be shuffled back into the deck, and there's no way for this Echo to find their chances into the backline.
Yeah, Zenith really struggling right now to just make up this space, and I gotta be honest, a lot of it is predicated around Griffin's grenades right now. The grenades of this Emre have been just doing so much right now. We even saw it with the Tracer. Now Wildcard has decided they're tired of the Tracer character and has swapped over to the Genji, it looks like.
Okay, well, it's a roulette wheel for Zenith as they're trying to figure out what composition works best. But all the while, Griffin pestering them from the backline. A great purple onto everybody, but quickly shielded, and that leaves the Gorilla in an awkward position. The Scientist, can he figure a way out of this one? Wildcard just bursted into oblivion. Colonel Sanders, he's got to run back to the shop as there's nothing he can do as the rest of the team falls around it.
Oh, I mean, this is just complete dominance from Fallen Vortex right now. And like that fight, it wasn't Griffin, it was more so Brook and Geo actually managing to do a lot in that fight. And we're seeing Hi, You Are Good swapping over to the cast now, just looking for some sort of in. Those Zarya bubbles are still managing to do a lot in these fights.
So I wonder if it's not necessarily the DPS, but it's got to be the tank, right? Colonel Sanders is the Scientist the best choice here? They have the nano combination to then get him to the primal should they need it, and that might be the only win condition that they have. But to get through this choke point, when you have the overriding protocol available, and here it goes, unleashed is the virus, and unleashed are the pelts from the heaven, the heavy shots, the slow ones, and there it goes, the kill feed littered in red, and another victory here for the Fallen Vortex.
I mean, yeah, they're just struggling right now to... Yeah, that's tough. You get kill credit for that. That's crazy. And it looks like the Sundering Blade got used as well, but that was a point cap, actually. That happened. All right, so Zenith just couldn't really get set up in any capacity, and as you can see right there, 0 kills coming through for Zenith. It was really... You know, I was highlighting the grenades a lot from Griffin, and that's really just because you don't expect to be that low HP that quickly. That's what I really, because I could say this as someone who has played Tracer into Emre a lot. When the stray grenade hits you, it throws off your perception of how much HP you have as a Tracer player. And it's tough to deal with. I really like what UTD Zenith is doing right now. They're saying, all right, forget that composition we just played. We're going to play a comp where all we do is look forward and shoot the enemy team.
And simpler is sometimes better. You were talking about that in the green room. It's like sometimes you just got to play what's easy so we get comfortable into the match, and then we can figure we can mix it up. So they go with the Sigma here now and the Bastion, but Hi, Are You Good doesn't even get a chance to play. Eliminated early on. The Bastion trying to be what his namesake is, but can't find their way onto the point. This attack from the side of Fallen Vortex, too good.
I don't like UTD Zenith's approach right there. You can't just walk in a straight line to the point and hope that you're going to get some kills along the way. You have to clear that left side or right side, however you want to think of it, where the statue is to what would right now be the left of the point. You have to clear that area. You cannot just allow Griffin on Emre to just be standing there and firing out upon your team. So that's just bad pathing from UTD Zenith, and they're continuing to do it right now, which is just going to allow this hit scan to continue to dominate.
Trying to force their way onto the point. They're just, running their heads into the wall, head rammer style, if you will. But now the Bastion unleashed once more. They're focusing on Brook, but they will be babbling away. Nice shields at the ready. The Gladiator, though, will be taken down. The blood spills onto the battlefield once more. Brook has to try to get some revenge, but a quick vice to the face will send them to the gray screen. And there we go. All right, third time's the charm. They make their way onto the point.
Oh, Colonel Sanders cooking up something nice right there, managing to get a 3 or a 4K in that fight. And now that this composition is set up, I think it's going to be significantly easier for them to try and hold. It's really hard to push into a poke composition this heavy. You're going to have some crazy good engagement kill from either Geo or Griffin early to really get your way onto this point.
I feel like now as the Vendetta, it's really challenging to find that pick into the backline. Like, who do you really go for? Everybody's kind of got something that can defend against. They're going around this left-hand side. A Kitsune rush utilized to stave off the advance, but a ring around the Rosie from Brook, and in it all, Suel will fall, and the Graviton unleashed and locks up, vacuums in 3. The overriding protocol will finish the job, and everybody goes tumbling down. An expensive fight, but one well worth it here for the side in red.
It was very expensive for Fallen Vortex. I gotta be honest, if you're Zenith, you probably should have ulted a little bit earlier to try and prevent something like that from happening. Like, you use your Kitsune rush and the entirety of Fallen Vortex backs off. At that point, you probably need to follow up with something else. Most likely that Gravitic Flux is the only thing you have that can really get kills here. But now Fallen Vortex gonna have both of their support ults and that Sundering Blade from this next game.
Kitsune rush unleashed from the shrine. They're praying to the Fox Goddesses as best they can. The Priestess willing the team forward. Now here's that Gravitic Flux. It's got to be massive. It only gets up one. The Sound Barrier, the savior of the DJ. He's amping it up and letting the people know he's here to stay. Colonel Sanders just being run down, and the Sundering Blade will take him down. Free into the backline goes the Vendetta, hacking, slashing, buying, and just destroying everybody. The Gladiator on a tear.
Oh yeah, an absolutely dominant performance so far from the entirety of Fallen Vortex. I mean, great bubble usage onto Geo, making sure they're able to get that Sundering Blade off. And it looks like that is going to be the end of map 1. Fallen Vortex just really taking it to UTD Zenith, showing that, hey, we might have finished 4-4, but like, we're a very strong team.
Control is always so interesting to me as a game mode, right? Obviously been here since the dawn of time, but it's more of like a death match, right? Where maybe Zenith is more of a strategy team when it comes to escort or hybrid or things of that nature. So they're definitely not out of it yet, right, folks? It is a 1st to 3, so you've got to win 3 maps. But now Zenith, they're in the driver's seat still, once again, for the map picks, for the band rotations, things of that nature. But Shadow, I do want to just do a quick callback to that match on that point. When Zenith had control, they kind of got caught chasing. They should have been static more on the point instead of chasing after people with the composition they had.
Yeah, when you're playing that poke style comp, you really do just kind of need to sit back and shoot the people that run at you. Like, I swear I say things in like such a simplistic manner, but that's kind of just that's how I explain most things generally. It's like, hey, we're playing this composition. The idea of this composition is to shoot them as they try and approach. So let's just sit back and do that, just shoot them in the face as they try and walk towards this. So, like you said, they chased a little bit too hard there, getting a little kill hungry, and they ended up paying for it.
Sure did, and that's why I like you as a chair too. I mean, my caster profile says you're my most casted with partner, so that's why we're good tandem, because you simplify everything in a great way for even me to understand. So it makes my job easier, and I appreciate that, my friend. Well, first game, maybe not as close as we expected from two seeds, or two teams that are closely seeded. The one thing you mentioned at the top of this program is these teams have never played each other before, so they really had to do their research ahead of time, watch VOD reviews or maybe other games that were posted here on CGL, whatever it could be, to find some inkling of advantage, and that's where the coaching staff from both of these squads really comes in.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if that Ramatra ban was really a lot more crucial than I previously thought it was, because it really felt like Zenith just didn't. It felt like they didn't know how to play the compositions they were trying to play. Like they were playing the Sigma like a Ramatra almost, like the way they were attempting to run down kills and whatnot, and it was working on occasion, but. I think this next map might be a little bit better, since Zenith will definitely have their Ramatra available to them again.
They're gonna make sure they do. Maybe they go tank ban first, so that way they can save. Well, I guess you can't ban the same character twice if you're the same team. So Ramatra is gonna be alive for the rest of this series. So that's maybe sweat off the brow for Zenith. Well, I believe we have the map choice available from these squads. So let's pull that up and see where we're headed to next. Okay, we don't have that just yet, Shadow. Well, what do you hypothesize then, right? Do you think that a way to get momentum back into your favor, do you think you go to escort? Do you go to push? What would you do?
I think the thing you could potentially do here that would probably work is you go with a Saravasa, an Atlas, New Junk City, any one of the Flashpoint maps, and you just ban Zarya, right? Like that's something I think would work very effectively for you, because you're in a sense you're forcing either like an Orisa, Diva, or a Ramatra pick as well. So I think if you're Zenith and you want to play that Ramatra composition, I think picking Flashpoint and then banning out that Zarya immediately really gives you the chance to tie this series up pretty quickly.
It's a rock, paper, scissors match, right? It's just like, all right, do I beat you? Do you beat me? How does this go? Or how does this work, right? So if you can make that logic simplified by your ban choices, then that's a good strategy. The flip side of that coin, though, is if you go to Flashpoint, I mean, you just got rolled on Control, which is kind of the same thing. Maybe your team fight orientation or how you operate is not as good. As one ban really going to change the difference? But maybe you go to a map like King's Row or something that you've been practiced on, and you try to get the momentum back in that way. Well, I've been hearing from Rhino in the back that we are charging forward to our map selection. It has been chosen. Let's see what we got.
And it's gonna be Atlas.
Ah!
Atlas. I'll tell you, you could probably just throw me. I swear I don't know these things in advance. It's just, I'm just like thinking like, I've played with a lot of people that are around this level, right? Mm-hmm. So when you play with them, that is usually their immediate thought process. Like, no, we'll roll them if we just do this. So I could be wrong on the ban though. We'll have to see where that goes, but I can definitely see where a team is like, we lost on Control, but that's because we didn't have our RAM. So let's go to Atlas, and then we'll be able to dominate.
I mean, friend, for as many times as we have casted, you are rarely wrong. You've got like an 80% or more in terms of your prediction rate. Well, let's see if you can make it 100 in this series as we have our bans ready. Rhino, let's pull them up. Okay, this time we're just actually going to the ban screen. You're saying the Zarya. We've got 25 seconds on the clock here for Zenith to make their decision. I don't know. Do you think they'll go for it?
I think the only other pick that could make sense is Emre, but otherwise, but you have Sojourn back as well. So that's the other thing. You have Sojourn is also available now, and I think Sojourn can battle Emre a lot better. So I think getting rid of Zarya makes more sense to me here, but Emre would be the other pick.
They're now into extra time here, Zenith, and we've got a lock. It will be the Vendetta that they take off the board. Very interesting. They thought maybe that was the problem. I feel like we didn't really even call Gio's name that much. It was just maybe like the ends of the fights when they were getting a big ultimate to just to clean people up. But maybe they thought otherwise. Okay, no Italian in this one, but now it's fallen Vortex. They have an opportunity to ban another tank, or maybe they go for the support line. What do you think?
This is interesting. Since we saw some Kiriko Ana get played from the side of Zenith, I'm gonna guess Ana. Otherwise, like nothing. I don't know what else you would pick if you're going with Vortex. You weren't really threatened by much. Okay, Baptiste. That was another support that did get played, and Bap Lucio can go really well with Ramatra. So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, all right. No Baptiste, that's my favorite character. Don't check my stats, folks, but I promise you he's the one I play the most. Will not be in this one. So we'll see if Colonel Sanders now potentially on this Ramatra will be facilitated in earnest to win this map and tie us up in the series, or will this go the way of Fallen Vortex and they just will ride all this momentum to possibly a pretty easy 3-0?
Yeah, it could go very poorly just because again, you've left the Zarya on the board and the Emre on the board, which I feel like those were the two characters that were really doing the most against you if you were Zenith, right? Griffin was just opening fights with kills over and over again, and if Griffin wasn't opening the fight with a kill, Griffin was opening the fight with grenade damage that was then leading to a kill. So like it was. And really in this game, as soon as one kill comes out, the rest of the team just kind of folds almost immediately after that, almost every time.
Especially when it's so a lopsided exchange, right? Which is double grenades, you're dead. Okay, if you trade a little bit, you're both shooting each other, maybe I'm low, then an errant bullet can finish you off even if you do die, right? That's fine. But just the way that they were opening these fights with these massive picks just for free, it seemed, just gave them the clear advantage. Well, we'll be flying to Morocco for this second map in our first to 3 series of round 1, season 17. There's always a mouthful at CGL. There's so many different tiers and formats and all that stuff. But I have to thank our producer Rhino, who is helping us out today, and Honeybee, who's our observer capturing these wonderful shots. Are we seeing anything out of the ordinary from the compositions? I'm spying a Reaper in the spawn room.
I do see a Reaper from the side of Zenith. I don't know. I like the composition, but I think Vortex's comp is a little bit better, right? Because Zarya can enable Reaper to do a lot more, whereas Ramatra just kind of stands there and, like, when he goes in the Nemesis mode, he can punch somebody.
Yeah, is he peeling that effectively? But who needs peel when there's just outright damage? This is what Zenith was looking for. They've reached the summit, so to speak, and hi, are you good? Sending folks to the grave. And that's a quick fight. Done and dusted. The point flip goes the way of Zenith.
Hey, I mean, what went well there for Zenith? I would say they kind of just retreated back. And while Griffin was trying to shoot somebody on an off angle in the distance, the rest of their team was just kind of getting punched in the face right on the other side of the map. And we're seeing it right now where what they're doing very effectively is burning through the bubbles incredibly quickly at Brook. And that is the one way that this composition of Zenith can work better. You got to burn through those bubbles incredibly fast.
And that's a call that you have to make as a team. Like, bubble, 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 everybody shoot it so that you go through it quickly, put Brook under duress. They have to make quick decisions. Wild card, make a decision to pull out the blaster here, try to get some of that health back. The Reaper taking the brunt of that damage, but all the while, the point has flipped to the team in red.
Yeah, that's not good. You don't want to flip the point just completely for free like that, but I mean, Griffin's already got override protocol, right? I can't help but just shout out the grenade damage once again, because that's the only way you could possibly already have this ultimate, is if you're just getting mass grenade shots.
There was a grenade right on cue. Thank you, honey. And there is the overriding protocol just living rent-free in everybody's head. A heavy blaster shot, and it will be a parting gift from the Reaper to claim another soul. This is the cue for Brook to go stampeding forward. They'll secure another fight win.
They will. We're coming into last fight territory here for Zenith on this first point. And, I mean, we got a lot of ults on the board, right? There's a grab, Blossom, Kitsune Rush for Fallen Vortex, and Blossom Annihilation, Kitsune, Sound Barrier online for Zenith. Zenith does have one more ultimate. I think that Sound Barrier is going to be key if they want to be able to win this, but losing one already is not what you want to see.
No, the Kitsune Rush, how dare you go after him? The Annihilation still on the board, but they'll save the check mark here for now as the point flip will be captured for Fallen Vortex, and they want to claim more Fallen members, and they'll do just that, just mowing down their competition.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Zenith, well, okay, they seem to have gotten away now. I was going to say at this point, you almost need to run into the other team and hope they kill you quicker. But they do actually manage to get out, and they're looking at all of their ultimates, essentially, right? Wildcard's going to get up to that override protocol very, very quickly. And, I mean, this is the fight. You really need to win this one if you're Zenith, and you need to try and not over-ult as well.
That's always the precarious point, right? It's like we have all these ultimates, let's just go for it. They double support off to open it up. Hi, are you good? Does to go into the backline and take down his opposite number. A grab to lock everybody in place, but the Annihilation to stave off the advance. It is just a bedlam here on this point. Everybody using every ult they have. It will be, though, the point to go to Zenith, and they have 2 ultimates still left in the bank.
Yeah, that's great for Zenith, honestly. Like, the double support ult looked like it wasn't going to go well at first, but then Fallen Vortex also did it. And, I mean, Sue already 52% to another Sound Barrier. I mean, you know, that 25% carrying over, it doesn't feel like that much, but then you end up in this situation where all you did was finish the fight, you pop Sound Barrier in, and you're 60 to another one. Like, that's insane.
Insane. And so is the damage from this Zarya, who's finding themselves on the high ground, just pelting people, but from the heavens comes the overriding protocol, the host doing all the work with the virus, doing the damage. A heavy blaster shot will find Wasabi in the backline. She will go down. Now it is time for the Nemesis form to take hold. They are just pelting through. This is the Zenith we know. This is the Zenith we need.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And now you're seeing Fallen Vortex swapping over to that Diva-style composition, right? All that's really going to change now is that Brook doesn't have to necessarily deal with Colonel Sanders on this Ramatra, as you know, Brook flies right into Colonel Sanders on this Ramatra.
But I wonder, Shadow, like, who is the dive target then? And Geo is the target of all of these nanobots are just being pelted into him. So I'll allow you to ponder that question as the points will be captured here. We're netted up on Atlantis.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, right? We're seeing Geo swap over to the Pharah now, and I think this is where the Pharah just has to kind of land a couple of rocket shots potentially and then call a target, because realistically, when you're looking at Zenith, the only character you can effectively get to is going to be Wildcard on that Emre. Everybody else has some sort of ability to either live, in Colonel Sanders' case, or just get away, as the override protocol is coming out now.
It's a dogfight in the air, going after the Echo of all things. So shifty is she in the skies, and that's an overriding protocol, unfortunately going to waste for the side of Griffin, but he'll say, nah, Philly, we caught the points of space created, but now rushing in with the beat of all things is the engage tool they choose. Suwao leading the charge once more. The punches come through, and the Annihilation utilized now. The nanobots are hungry, and they're going chop, chop, chop through the competition, but still the point has not flipped. It is still accruing for the side of Fallen Vortex. They're throwing bodies onto the point to get every percentage that they can. Is that the Kiriko? She goes on in the swift step. Not good enough. The point flip still has not come through, Shadow. They've got to clean up this fight.
Oh, they absolutely need to. The flip finally comes through for Zenith. Your Colonel Sanders right now, I think you need to play a little bit slow right now. You need to just wait for your team to get back here, because now Fallen Vortex has their Sound Barrier. But if you're Zenith, you have a Kitsune Rush that could potentially eat through that Sound Barrier, so you just need to play back and try and wait to do something with that.
See, I mean, they're going for this far. They've kind of locked the bird in the cage. Oh, and a great off angle will take down Who Dare. This allows Brook to move on forward. No Kitsune Rush will be in this one. They eye up the other support, the Lucio, hop, skipping, and jumping away, but still the ire of the D.Va. They'll turn their sights now as Colonel Sanders has gone into the backline and taken down two. The Theory captain, or the Lucio saying GG as he's going back to the spawn room door. The duplicate now expended, this time onto the D.Va. He can duplicate basically anyone on the map. Almost close to the bomb. Will launch it forward, but no, it doesn't get the thruster in time, but space created.
Yeah, I mean, space absolutely created right there. The fact that Sue was able to live through the entirety of that is probably the craziest part, because we were watching Brooks POV. I mean, that Lucio was that Lucio was actually one, right? There's one, and then there's actually one. That Lucio was actually one and managed to live through the entirety of that. Crazy good from Zenith, and now they're already popping their Kitsune Rush.
And they have to, because Who Dare has been picked out time and time again at the beginning of these fights, but it will be another override protocol to make sure nobody's rushing through those shiny gates. They will get onto the point, but nobody's accruing any percentage yet. They're still vying for it. The barrage unleashed, but nobody home to collect. Now the Annihilation's turn as the nanobots are flying around doing more murder than any bird in the sky. Brook will try to remech, but all for naught as they are back to the respawn doors, and that's a nice fight win here for Zenith.
Oh, I mean, the thing that's been really tragic in a lot of these fights is that it feels like Zenith is over-ulting, but Fallen Vortex is also ulting in these fights and just losing them, so it ends up not really coming back to bite them that they're burning so many ultimates. Because even now, right, Fallen Vortex has their Kitsune Rush, but Zenith has an override protocol that can potentially, like, do something with that Kitsune Rush.
And we saw that at kind of the opposite end on the previous engagement, so let's see if it'll work differently this time around, being pelted from the sky. But Griffin plucks his opposite number from the clouds. Says, hey, I'll put you 6 feet under, but hi, are you good? Taking to the sky once more. Can the focus beam secure the kill? No! A swap from Geo onto the Genji, however. That's a peculiar pick, and another duplicate, this time onto the Ramatra for the Echo. Needing some more tank ability onto the point. Brook has also switched to the robot, the leader of Null Sector. Annihilation utilized here from Hi, are you good? Making sure everyone's feeling bad on the point. You feel like they're almost about to cap it here, Fallen Vortex, but the defense holds.
Oh, and I mean, what a great sound barrier coming through from Sue as well. Geo trying to stay alive here, trying to keep this map going, but they're not going to be able to. And Zenith really showing us that, hey, maybe it just was the Ramatra on map 1, because, you know, Flashpoint, they come through and win it in 3-1 fashion.
Whew. Okay. They definitely are wiping the sweat from their brow, from their hands now that they have Colonel Sanders on this Ramatra. Looked pretty good. Brook, going through that roulette wheel. Which tank do I try the D.Va, try the Zarya, and try and match it with the Ramatra now. Maybe as they move forward, maybe you start on the Ramatra and we have one of those battles as we go. But this Echo pick, I think, was pretty impactful as we saw just a quick screen there of the accolades. And I know that was a character you wanted to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think Echo's been really underrated recently, because just the sticky bombs and being able to burn through D.Va's defense matrix in particular is something I think can be very, very impactful, you know? And even if you're running like a RAM mirror per se, you can just throw your sticky bombs, land them on the RAM, and that'll absolutely burn through that quickly too. And then we saw, like, the copies were always incredibly effective as well, because you just get a second tank and you're probably going to pop that tank ult as well.
100%. And that leads me to the question about the Pharah. Did Geo find much impact on that character? We saw a lot of the pros in WCS on it, but it didn't seem to come to fruition here today.
No, we weren't seeing the spam come through. It's kind of it's like a weird thing where if you're going to run the Pharah, it almost needs to be like you're diving at the exact same time as the Pharah rockets are landing, and it seemed like Fallen Vortex was just too razzled by the time it actually got to that point that they were swapped onto that comp, where their coordination just was not there by then.
You got to play what's easy, right? Especially in a situation such as this, the upper bracket round 1. This is double elimination, of course, so the loser of this series will have a second chance at life in the tournament. Now, everybody wants the pride of winning the Masters tier, of course, But we are now knotted up 1-1 for both of these teams, and Coach Shadow must have been in the ear once again saying, hey, go to Flashpoint, you'll get the momentum back, you'll be fine. But I believe now, I think we're going to go to a quick break as it is kind of that midpoint in the series. So folks, don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a few.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Welcome back, everyone. You are tuning in to the CGL Season 17 NA Masters Tier Round 1 match between UTD Zenith and Fallen Vortex. You are joining at an opportune time, or still here with us, as the series is now knotted up 1-1. I'm HD Philly B, and with me is the man with the magic ball. It's Shadow Fang.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, yeah, it's been a competitive series in the sense of, like, I don't know if you watch basketball or not, but Warriors Cavs in 2016 went 7 and they just blew each other out for 6 games and had a really close game. And that's kind of what happened so far, right? We saw Fallen Vortex really dominate on control on the ball, and we saw Zenith, I would say, really dominate on Atlas, on Flashpoint as well. So hopefully this next map gives us something that's really competitive both ways, you know?
And speaking of next map, I mean, we were talking during the break of what you would think these teams should go for, and I want you to let the audience know your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, just based on what we've seen from Zenith so far, they seem to really prefer that Ramatra Brawl style play comp. So Fallen Vortex, I would think, would want to try and force them on a map where that isn't necessarily possible. And the 3 maps I think you can really do that on, we've got Dorado, Rialto, and Numbani. Those are the 3 maps that I think you can really, like, heavily try and force a dive style composition on. So really any one of those 3 maps I think would be a really solid pick if you're Fallen.
Okay, so try to force them right onto, if you can't ban out the Ramatra, force them onto a tank that maybe Colonel Sanders is uncomfortable on. So they have some things to think about, but they had that time during the break, and we have our map available. Rhino, let's bring it up and unveil the curtain to see what we have, and it will be New Queen Street. Yes, that was my prediction during the break. I'm hyped.
New Queen Street. Okay. So that's really interesting to me, because we saw on Atlas, Fallen Vortex could not figure out what to do with this Ramatra composition. And New Queen Street is a map where they being Zenith, can just run that comp again. So, like, I'm not sure what you can really do about it if you're Fallen, honestly. So I'm going to be really curious to see where the bans are going to lead.
Okay, well, they did stop him with the map. Ramatra's still able to play well on this one. Let's see what the bans do, Rhino. We can pull the chart up and take a look. 30 seconds on the clock here for Fallen Vortex as the loser of the previous map. They have the map choice for the next one, and they can decide the ban order. They are going for the first ban this time. They went with the Baptiste. Do you think they go for DPS? Emre was pretty lethal in the previous game.
You know, honestly, this could be a situation where you ban Reaper. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I think the Reaper is the main reason that Brook couldn't run the Zarya. I think there was just too much frontline damage. So, I don't know, I'm gonna guess their Reaper could be the pick here. It looks like it's gonna actually be Cass, which also does make sense. You know, that stun grenade can really prevent that Vendetta from getting a whole ton of value sometimes.
Okay. And sometimes there's also that save aspect to it. It's like, well, we don't want to make sure you ban the Emre from us, so we'll just ban a character in the category sort of deal. Though there was some casty play from Zenith, right? Hi, are you good? I think was on that character a little bit in the first map, so fine. But now Zenith, they have to choose from either the tank role or the support role. I feel like they're probably going to go the Zarya here, right? Just take that one off, make sure Brook can't even touch the weightlifter.
Yeah, I think Zarya is a solid pick, or you could ban Kiriko. I think that's really your 2 choices here, and it is going to be the Zarya ban. I like that, because that also makes the Cass ban make a little bit more sense to me too, because it's almost like Fallen Vortex is predicting the Zarya ban, so they're like, we still want to play Vendetta though, so let's get rid of the character with the stun grenade. So that's the idea, maybe.
Yeah, like a counter to the dive, right? She's going in the backline, stun him, shoot him, take him down, what have you. So, okay, no Cowboy, no Russian, even though it is a colder map. So we'll take a look at all the bans that we've had so far. Maybe this one will go the distance, my friend. But this makes sense in terms of all the bans here. I think the only one that's been a little out of left field has been this Baptiste, but everything else kind of is what we've expected.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a couple of substitutions coming in here, as we can see. Wowzers coming in on that DPS line. And then down here, we have Daddy OKC swapping in on that tank role for Brook. And has the Roadhog selected as their favorite character. So, I don't know. We could see some silliness happening here if that's like a real possibility.
I mean, I've seen some games from Fallen Vortex, and when Daddy OKC, I just want to call him Daddy for short, but that just sounds weird, so we gotta maybe say OKC, I don't know. But either way, the coach of the team, the staff member on the team, but when they come in, they play the wrecking ball, and they're posturing on it right now, and maybe that's another reason they banned the Cassidy, because he could stop the hamster in its tracks. So I like this, knowing that the substitutions are in, you gotta, play your cards right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're already seeing, I like this composition from Fallen Vortex. Griffin, really strong hit scan player. Let's not force our hit scan to play that Tracer. You can just play Tracer with extra steps and play this soldier, right? It's like if Tracer didn't blink but instead sprinted. That's kind of where we're at.
And he can now reload while sprinting, but can we get a knock? Oh, that was so close. The wrecking ball had him lined up like bowling pins. But nobody going off the edge just yet. Were they expecting this, Colonel Sanders? No, because he's the first to fall. Immediately, his tombstone dug. And now, this soldier had the high ground and can just kind of find their way through. We'll take the off angle against the Tracer. As you mentioned, it's kind of the budget Tracer, if you will. But that was a great opening fight for the side of Fallen Vortex.
Yeah, absolutely. To take down the Ramatra so early, that's just a lot of free card push that you get to have now. And you get to set up with these pile drivers, and Wowzers just already having to have the Suzu expended on them. That's tough to lose that cooldown so early.
Such a nuisance is this wrecking ball. He's just like, it's how do you focus him, right? And if you're not looking at him, then Geo on this Genji is just pestering you in the back line, and then Soldier has enough range to keep you at bay. So this is fine. I mean, you don't have to push the cart all the way. You just have to survive for the 10 minutes, and right now they're doing just that. Some good meterage, but even better control of the field.
Yeah, the tough part with that Wrecking Ball, too, is Wrecking Ball just has so much HP. Wrecking Ball is essentially immortal, so it's way better to just try and kill somebody else, right? You almost have to consider Ball immortal. When you see 1200 HP just pop up, it's like nobody's actually killing that thing in a reasonable amount of time. So we just have to run at the other characters, and I like that is what Zenith is deciding to do. They're like, look, we can't kill Ball realistically unless Ball is by themselves, so let's just kill everybody else.
Shadow, last time I checked, you didn't have the coaching role in the CGL Discord, but maybe you should. Call in every shot in the book. As the hamster's been rolling around, the team has fallen around them, but they got a great pick here on to Who Dare. They still have a lot of work to do, but the minefield is ready. I love minefield on push maps. Just spray it all over the robot. There's nothing the other team can do. This is a great positioning from Griffin, just pelting the bullets in. And yeah, they won the fight, Zenith, but they didn't get any meterage for their trouble.
No, they did not. That minefield just gets expended by OKC as well. And I mean, that's kind of the downside, right? If it takes you all of your resources essentially to kill everybody but the Ball, then you don't have the ability to kill the Ball at that point, because as I mentioned before, Ball has 1500 effective HP, so it's very difficult to kill them.
Playing around the health packs nicely. You always got to know where those are at, and it will be Sue who unleashes the beat to keep everybody alive. The Consume Rush in response. Fury crafting something, putting the numbers together to find elimination, but a swift punch to the chest will spend them to the gray screen. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but fighting over this checkpoint are both teams. The annihilation in desperation here for Colonel Sanders. He's got to do something to turn the tides, and he'll do just that. A pick onto the back line is just what he needs.
Yeah, getting that kill onto Wabi Sabi is big time. You don't have the healing anymore to keep up the rest of these squishy targets. And I mean, just look at that health bar from OKC. Like, that's obscene. You can't do anything with that. You just can't do anything with that, right? That character has way too much health. Like, you just can't do anything with that most of the time. Coming into this next fight, though, Fallen Vortex going to have their sound barrier, that blade. That's a really solid combo. It just really helps your Genji potentially get that ultimate off. I think Griffin going to have that attack visor as well, which does get popped right now.
See what they can do with it as everyone's looking at the wrecking ball. They're not looking at the auto hits from the soldier at range. Theory will clean up some of the kills, but they have to put both DPS ultimates to use here. The Blade Unleashed. It will take down one, and Griffin will finish the job. Another fight win. This one has got to be the checkpoint.
I mean, yeah, this has been just a really great performance so far from Fallen Vortex. They're doing a great job of just everybody just pelting in damage on the same target, right?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like Genji doesn't do that much damage, but Griffin always has such good angles to be peppering in this damage on this soldier, and it's just been great so far. Overclock does come off right now from Wowzer.
Oh, and it's got to be a wow factor here, but they're just layering it into the Wrecking Ball. He's fine to take the damage, sliding away to get a better angle, but the Genji just right on top of him. He slashes away, but yeah, they'll chase right after him. The Genji, will they go down? No, the healing Sublime. Now the Wrecking Ball here to tank some of those bullets. A switch to the Diva now for Colonel Sanders. It will be a beat. In desperation, they have to utilize this crucial ultimate to get some semblance on the point that will allow Wowzers to finally open up the kill feed.
They do indeed, but Griffin trades it right back and gets wild card. I mean, this has just been tough for them to actually make any ground on Griffin, right? It takes them so many of their movement cooldowns to actually get to this soldier. They have nothing left to attempt to kill the Wrecking Ball that has, again, so much HP.
The mobile DPS, the soldier. I was feeling with the buff they gave him, now that he can sprint and reload, that there would be a lot more players utilizing the veteran of Overwatch, and they're doing just that. But I don't think OKC has died a single time in this match. Slowly but surely, they're moving up the robot, taking the meters for themselves. Now the Kasune will be guiding. The Helixes are crossing. Theory once again murderous. Is this support? And a great peel for the soldier. All the healing being dumped into him. An assist for Wildcard, but it's really the kill feed and the deadlift, the MVP, go the way of Griffin.
Absolutely has been for sure. Attack Visor is going to be online, and OKC about to come up on this minefield as well.
See how they utilize it. It will be the sound barrier, and Wowzers plucked from the back line. A great tactical visor. It is the bomb just to clear off the point. Everyone scrambles for safety, but it's all exactly what they want, as the Wrecking Ball can now feast. The minefield laid upon the barrier so no one can approach, and still the bot is creeping forward.
I mean, Griffin just taking down Wildcard again. The overclock coming out, trying to get OKC. One more shot. There you go. It took the whole overclock, but you did finally get the kill onto the hamster.
Ooh. Well, you feel like Zenith is going to have to chain together a few more fight wins if they want to get any meterage on the board and even get close to 100. You feel like Fallen Vortex has probably done enough at this point with 3 minutes remaining. Now it's just about how much can we take off the clock, how many resources can we get you to utilize, and Wrecking Ball perfect for just that.
Yeah, just being an absolute nuisance. They still haven't denied the forward spawns yet, right? Like, it still has to go a little bit more forward. Wowzers has gone down to Geo in the back line, and now you're just stuck here fighting this fight. That was almost a double boop right there if OKC didn't have such good movement on the ball.
Oof, and the recall must have not been available for the Tracer, and so maybe an awkward fight to take, but one that Zenith is willing to muster, as they are now finally getting some momentum on their side. A team kill and some progress on the point.
And Wildcard finally gets their one on to Griffin. Don't look now, but OKC is already back on this Wrecking Ball, just swinging around. Gonna sit back, wait for their team, try and regroup here. Zenith has double support ults, potentially a Diva Bomb, and that Pulse Bomb. I really think that Pulse Bomb from Wildcard is going to be the key here, though. You really want to try and land that on Griffin early if you can.
Sound barrier forced out of the Lucio, and OKC says, all right, thank you very much. A Pulse Bomb, just what delivered to the feet of Theory, and that will explode him into smithereens. I wasn't expecting that one to connect. Wildcard doing everything they can to will their team forward, kill after kill for the DPS.
Yeah, great play right there from Wildcard. Fallen Vortex now, they've got their Kitsune Rush online. Ooh. Taking down the Tracer early could be huge, though, as the minefield does get dropped onto point by OKC.
OKC now has to be more than just a nuisance. He has to deal in some damage, find some picks in the backline like every good dive tank, but he gets caught under the bridge there. Griffin, can they be the hero in this story? But right now it's the villain of Wildcard who's been getting every elimination under their belt, but now the kill feed is smattered in red. 2 kills go the way of Fallen Vortex. They have everybody in the blender right where they want him, but that's a turnaround from Who Dare, and another table has been turned. The red side, they take the fight.
Oh yeah, that's a tough way to lose that fight too, because Wowzers burned that overclock. You know, we've all had those moments where we're like, hey, it's like a 3v5, but I can definitely turn this to an overclock right now. So we've all had those moments, you know. You can't fault them for sure. But, you know, coming into this next fight, Fallen Vortex going to have that tag visor online. Griffin's been really good with those so far, so it could be something to watch for. Wildcard going to have that pulse bomb and is already dead, so disregard what I just said.
I mean, Shadow, those two have been going at it on the off angle, and you expect Geo to be the one contesting, right? Tracer battle all the way, but it's been Griffin who's like, nah, bruh, let me handle it like a true anime battle, and that allows Geo free reign to go into the back line. Daddy OKC is kind of just actually taking all the space in the world, and Griffin yet again takes down Wildcard. This guy cannot play the game in desperation. It is the Kitsune Rush to get the robot in their favor, but for how long is the question? Who Dares steps forward only to fall once more. It's a great team fight win in overtime. Just one more kill to clean up. It will be bomb on bomb action, and just for fun, Daddy OKC blows himself up, but they get the win.
Fallen Vortex, I mean, it's Cavs Warriors 2016. I don't know what to tell you. These two teams are going to keep blowing each other out until we get to map number 5. That's what it seems to be at the very least. So the big thing there, it's the same thing that was happening on map 1, right? Griffin was just getting opening kills over and over again. If you can stop that from happening like you did on Atlas, you have a very good chance of winning these maps if you're UTD Zenith. But when you're just down a player, just consistently always down one player, it becomes very, very difficult to even be competitive.
Coach, I mean, I got to toss it back to you again. Is this a matter of target prioritization? Do they need to build a comp to focus or counter whatever Griffin is doing? Because anytime they are on a hit scan character like the Emre, like the Soldier, they're just dominating the server.
It's tough, right? Because I think with the maps we have left, right, we have Hybrid and Escort. Is that right?
Yep,
we have Hybrid.
that's right.
And Escort. Hybrid and Escort are our 2 maps left. All right, that's weird. I swear it's usually I don't feel like that's usually the case. But Hybrid and Escort, I don't think there's going to be nearly as many angles that Griffin can take that can't be contested. Because that was the difficulty that we ran into on that last map, right? Griffin was just on uncontested angles all the time, and it was just a solo Tracer and Wildcard trying to push them. All you have to do is land those Helix rockets close to Wildcard, and you're probably winning that fight. So that's probably what was happening over and over again, right? There was probably just a Helix rocket was just going in, taking them down to half HP, and then with the aim that we have seen Griffin have, that's only landed like 2 or 3 shots at that point, and that's not asking a lot of your Soldier player, right? So like landing the Helix rocket is incredibly key in that matchup. And then on map number 1, what we were seeing over and over again was Griffin was just sitting like the team fight was here, Griffin was over here, just shooting the back line from over here. So it's like, yeah, all you have to do is just contest them, right? You don't necessarily have to kill them. You just have to contest them so that they don't get like early kills every single fight.
Saying free on my screen is Griffin. He's just like, I'm on this off angle, nobody's looking at me. Okay, headshot, shot, Helix rocket, grenade, whatever you want, explosive from the arsenal. You take your pick. But picking now has to be Zenith to get themselves level once more, or they give up another win for Fallen Vortex to take on Cosmic Eclipse in round number 2 of this upper bracket. You've mentioned this right before we went to push, that you thought Escort or Hybrid would have been the move to kind of force Zenith onto a dive composition, but Zenith now, they're kind of trapped, they're hamstrung into one of those 2 options, and I feel like they're a little bit nervous about it.
Yeah, you're in a really tough spot right now because Escort in particular, those maps are all going to be difficult to deal with Griffin on. Like it just is. You got Dorado, Havana, Rialto, and Shambali. All of those maps, we haven't seen Zenith be really like particularly strong on any sort of dive style composition, and you would have to play a dive style composition to deal with the pressure that hit scan is laying on your team. So what I think Zenith is gonna do is pick King's Row. I think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna pick King's Row, and they're gonna run it down main on a Ramatra composition. And they'll probably dominate because that's what we saw them do on Flashpoint, right? That's my expectation of what we're about to see right now. But then they're going to be stuck with Escort, where that same problem is going to peek its head out again, and it could happen on King's Row too, because there are some high grounds there.
And the other issue with that is, okay, let's say Zenith win this one. As a reminder, folks, they are 6-1 on the season, or 6-2. They are a really good team, right? They fought a lot of good squads. But let's say they win this one, then Fall and Vortex gets to pick the map. Well, okay, then they'll pick one in their favor, so you feel like your back is against the wall no matter what you do. But every good team, you take it one step at a time. Esports is a mental game, right? So let's just focus on what we've got to do now. Rhino, I'm asking you from the heavens, do we have our map pick? I'm curious to see if Shadow is right. Let's pull up the maps and see what we got.
All right, Havana. Okay, that was gonna be my secondary guess. If they were gonna try and do an if they were gonna try and do an Escort map, this is the map. But First Point is gonna be so painful for them to try and get through. If they can get through First Point, I don't think the rest of the map is going to be nearly as difficult. But getting across this first area and not dying to Griffin's hit scan from that high ground that we know is at the front of First Point, I think is going to prove to be very, very difficult. But this is essentially Zenith playing the long game, because they know, hey, if we get rid of this map, you can't take us to a map that we just absolutely cannot play a brawl comp on. So I think it's a smart pick overall. I just think it's going to be really difficult to deal with that high ground hit scan.
Do we see a Widow or an Ashe potentially in this, right? Some characters with some either farther range, or do you think Griffin on the Emre or the Soldier will be enough?
No, I think you end up with some more long range options here, just simply due to the distance you have to cover. I imagine Ashe is going to be the pick. You can run Sojourn potentially as well. I think this map has just enough range where Sojourn can still be viable, especially on point 2. And yeah, I would say especially on point 2, maybe not point 3. But it primarily will probably be seeing the extra long ranges in the Ashe, the Widowmaker, and maybe the Freya. I doubt it though. Teams don't seem to really like playing that anymore. So I would say Ashe or Widow is very possible.
Okay, maybe even the Cowboy, right? Was banned out last time. Might see him this time. Well, it is time, folks, to check out the bans. Let's pull up the screen and see which characters they're going to go. Okay, never mind. They're still figuring it out. They do have, 60 seconds to pick out these bans. That's fine. They like to throw us for a loop. So we have Havana. I believe the loser gets to choose this, or the winner chooses what side, right? They get the second ban and choose the side. So if you are Zenith, do you feel like you go for attack first, or do you go for defense?
Generally speaking, you'd like to play defense first. It's just like overtime rules in football, right? You like to play defense first because then you know exactly what you have to do on offense. And especially on a map like this is a map that can be First Point held a lot. So you could put yourself in a position where this becomes a very, very fast map. And you could even opt. So we've seen teams that will opt for the brawl style comps and try and get as many fights as possible on First Point. I don't think that's what's about to happen here, though. I think Zenith is actually going to opt to try and do like that Sigma-based composition and just go for like a fully poke style, because we did see them play that a little bit on map number 1. And that's like the more, that's like the more stereotypical pick on this map, is to just run Sigma. It takes a lot more coordination to play like that full brawl style and try and force as many fights as you can.
Yeah, I remember there was a time where the pros everybody would like run up to the spawn room door and try to like win as many fights as they could just to kind of extend, because it is a longer first point, right? You got to go up the hill, you got to turn, etc., etc. All right, now I'm hearing from our eye in the sky that the bands are ready. Let's pull up the screen and see what we've got. This time the timer only at 30 seconds. We've talked pretty at length. Do you think there's any wild card? Like, do they go for like a Orisa, or do they go back to the Wrecking Ball, right? Knowing that there might be some substitution if Daddy OKC is still in the rotation.
I think this is a moment where you may want to ban a tank just to make sure your Sigma can't get banned, right? This might be because you might have come to this map with a full strat of playing Sigma, so you just need to get rid of a tank so you can save that. It doesn't really even matter what it might be.
Makes a good point.
Or
But it
Lucio.
won't be a tank at all. It'll be Lucio of all things. Okay, maybe the sound barrier too tough to deal with, or maybe they're trying to make sure the Zarya can't get zoomed into battle or something like that, right? They're trying to think 5 steps ahead. Okay, what does Fallen Vortex want to do here? How can we prevent them from doing just that?
Yeah, they're trying to slow it down. That almost confirms to me that they want to play a poke comp.
Yeah.
And if you're Fallen Vortex, do you just ban the Sigma, right? And just say, no, we're not going to do that. You could, if that's what you really want to do. You know, that's certainly an option here. Or Widow.
I mean, we were talking about it, right? Great sight lines. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of Widows in my games recently. That's kind of why I brought it up, but okay, makes sense. I think from a more meta perspective or more gamesmanship angle, banning the Sigma or the Dominant, like some sort of poke tank, would have been more useful. But Fallen Vortex, maybe they know something we don't about the rosters that Zenith is bringing to this. So the Widowmaker will be taken off the board. Now that we have our band situated, let's see if there's any substitutes that have been made. Let's bring up the rosters once again.
We got some stuff going on here.
Oh, wow.
Zenith has done some role swapping, one might say. Sue Whale has swapped over to tank from support, and Colonel Sanders has swapped from tank to support. I might have said that. I might have just said the same thing twice. I don't know if I did. And then Hi You Are Good has come back in as well. And then down there for Fallen Vortex, we see Brooke coming back in on that tank, because it seems like OKC was just in to play that Wrecking Ball, and they played it very effectively.
Yeah, from what I've seen from Fallen Vortex, that seems to be the case, right? They'll put in Daddy OKC just for a good Wrecking Ball map, and then take them out, put Brooke back in. Maybe their hero pool is just a little deeper than that. So, okay. Now this is interesting. You have to win this game if you're UTD Zenith, and you've made all these role swaps on this this map pick you've chosen. You have to have a strategy that is gonna just win it outright as we make our way to the bottom.
I'm just gonna say this as a person who also likes to play a decent bit of tank. I like playing the Iari character a lot, so I'm curious if Colonel Sanders is gonna be playing that on this map, and just going for, again, that full poke style composition, because Iari can do a lot of damage from range. And at the moment, at least, it's looking like Fallen Vortex is playing more the style of composition I was expecting from Zenith. But Colonel Sanders is going to be playing that Iari. I'm telling you, bro, us tank players, we're all the same. We play like the same 6 characters.
There's got to be like some psychology study or something. Like, what is it about the kits or the play style that is just like, it's near and dear to your heart or something like that? But I love Idioti, especially on these sort of where you have to play up front. There's good choke points and kind of structures you can hide behind, because that pylon does a hell of a lot of healing. And you can do some good damage too, right? Find a nice off angle and poke them out from there. So let's see if this poke composition does its name justice.
And we're getting started right here just with some poke. The Zen versus the Iari, I think, is a really interesting distinction that we're going to be seeing throughout. The Discord Orb is incredibly powerful, but I like the pylon healing just a little bit better, and the pylon's already down.
The caster curse is upon them already. The Freya is in this match as well. That was one we were not expecting. The Domina gonna go poke for poke. It's not every day you see two poke tanks just going after it. So a slow and steady match, that's fine. We love to see it now. It's about these off angles and these kills. The pylon under scrutiny once again, but this is, hey, are you good, with a great headshot from range. Now they're gonna barrel roll forward looking for the Vishkar, and they find it. Oh, on a tear is the Cowboy.
I'm telling you, man, the ERE damage, it's really sneaky when it comes in, right? You'll just all of a sudden get final hit by that character time and time again. And with the way that Zenith is playing this at such close range, it makes the cast pick make a lot more sense, because you're constantly just right in front of the other team. And Theory has said, I give up, the pylon is the pick here, and has swapped to match the ERA.
And I kind of like this because if you find a good position, like, how can you get it taken down, right, as they're trying to play this corner? Wowzers does find a pick, though. Those two I thought were friends, the Turkish and the Freya, but it will not be the case. It will be a Graphitic Flux utilized instead to maybe turn the tides, and it'll do just that. What I thought was a great opening pick turns to peter out.
Oh my goodness. And that's really, like, yeah, I like these swaps here coming through from Fallen Vortex. Domina is actually way more of a brawl tank than a poke tank. Like, her cooldowns play way more brawl style than poke style, and oh my goodness, that rock was just insane. Immediate death for Sue.
Wow, we're just kind of out-tanked there. The mind games going the way of broken Wowzers. Looking to put on a fireworks display from the top ropes, pestering everybody with some nice blaster shots, but won't find any eliminations. The cart is creeping steadily forward with no tank in front of them. Now it's just shooting fish in a barrel, and hi, are you good will oblige. It will be turned into sushi. A matrix utilized from both of the Baptistes here, but into the back line goes the Genji. He's hacking and slashing his way through, making sure nobody can utilize this matrix, this window. All the damage just gone out the wayside. Griffin still uncontested, just lasering through the competition.
Yeah, I mean, this Griffin has just been crazy all series, as we've continued to see, but it seems like this is turning in the way of Zenith somehow. I am really not sure how they managed to turn this fight in their favor, but it has in fact happened, and they managed to hold that first point.
Incredible work, and maybe just a timely reinforcements from Sue kind of restabilized everybody, and Wowzers had some great picks from this Emery. Well, with 30 seconds remaining on this point one, Shadow, you called that there might be a full hold and you may get your wish. Geo trying to approach with deflect, but the grenade will blast at his feet. Eliade with the captivating sun does not capture my attention here, but a Deadeye surely will take down Brook. No, the tip of the spear shattered the overriding protocol in desperation, but immediately shot from the sky, and the time will dwindle down, and it will be a full hold here for Zenith.
It didn't look like it was gonna be for a moment, I gotta be honest. Like, when Sue went down so early, and then it just seemed like the kills were coming through for Vortex. They just couldn't quite finish everybody off. And then Sue makes it back, and all of a sudden you have shielding from Griffin, right? Because when Sue was gone, we saw Griffin start to get kills back to back to back. Yep. And that is, you know, what we've grown accustomed to seeing a lot in this series. But once the shield was available and everybody made it back, it just started to go in the favor of Zenith. And now they have to just push this, what is that, 86.6 meters, and they'll be able to cap this. They basically have to full cap, but not quite.
Well, this was their strategy. They had a specific composition they wanted to bring into this match, and they were able to execute with all the role swaps they did. I mean, Sue held their own pretty nicely on this Sigma. Got diffed one time in the rock, paper, scissors of like, do I shield? Do I rock? Do I grasp? Right? And then you got caught. You got hit with the rock. That's fine. It happens. But Colonel Sanders can't be understated here. Just the amount of healing. I would love to see the scoreboard at some point, just because that would be awesome. I'm sure it was keeping everybody in the fight. But I thought I saw Juno there for a second. All right, back to the Baptiste we go.
Yeah, we're going to basically have
Oh,
Very similar compositions to what we were seeing on that last round. And yeah, I don't know here. The Genji, I think, is an interesting pick. I feel like Hayu or Good was doing so well on that cast. I don't know if I necessarily like swapping off of that.
maybe just to kind of close the distance, right? Try to get on top of these characters that want to play from range, but Griffin happy to keep everybody at arm's length as they find a headshot from distance. I gotta thank Honeybee for putting up the scoreboard there, 3,000 healing for the Iliade, but oh my goodness, a ton of damage for Theory. I thought they're a healer, turns out they're a DPS.
Yeah, you know, you can do quite a bit of damage on that Ana. There's another kill coming through for the Ana. And that seems to be the play right now. I don't know. I'm generally surprised at how much poke damage the side of Zenith is taking, just trying to take some of this space right now. Again, they just need to make sure Griffin does not take down anyone early, and they will probably eventually win out in this poke.
Shadow, are we going to see an even fuller hold? I mean, this was something you were worried about. How is Zenith going to work into this uphill climb? That was okay, they had a great defense, but the offense was the part that you had most suspect on. And right now, with 2 minutes and 40 on the clock, they finally get the cart moving ever so steady. The war of attrition is going their way, but the window expended from Wasabi, trying to get some damage in. Griffin trying to utilize the window to great effect, but it will be Geo who secures the first elimination in this one. A great frag from downtown. The Gravitic Flux inching closer. It's going to be a battle between the scientists. Who will get it first? That's the question.
Yeah, we see Sue does manage to get it on and is already popping the Gravitic Flux. Catches on to one, but, you know, Immortality Field exists, so no kills coming through on that.
It's a battle of resources, right? You've got to get those abilities out first before you use your big ultimate to try to win the fight, and they will hold Fallen Vortex. They survive the ultimate use.
Do indeed. Fallen Vortex, they have their Gravitic Flux as well, and they also have their Override Protocol, which Griffin has opted to use with a Nano Boost.
Oh, he's super shiny. I feel like I've locked into the best Pokemon in the world. Let's see if his attack power is there. Yes, his opposite number eliminated immediately. A good frag grenade from the heavens, and Griffin, who else is getting the kill?
Yeah, who else indeed? Gravitic Flux coming through. Gonna try and counter out that amplification matrix with it. Does get the kill onto Wabi Sabi, but Hudare immediately getting traded out on the other side, so no Baptiste going to be available for either team for the rest of this fight.
Clever play, right? Can make sure they can't use the window. You can't shoot from it above. You got to shoot through it. So that was a well-worked opportunity from Brook. A minute left now, folks. Just a 12 more meters. Can Zenith do it?
They do have Override Protocol and Deadeye available, so there is some strong potential that something could go well in this fight, but people gotta stop dying early to Geo or Griffin. I mean, you're already down your cast for this fight.
What? Colonel Sanders, no more healing pylon, but the Bola is there. Do they even need to use it? No, the explosive round will do the job. Wowzers. Back to the gray screen once more. Okay, they have enough time for maybe one more push. Do they have the gas in the tank?
Oh, that is the question right here. Can they make it around this corner? Wabi Sabi gonna pop that amp matrix, the nano going on to Griffin. And again, like you got 15 seconds left. You have to start advancing towards the point. Gravitic Flux is gonna come out here, and it could be potentially strong, but not gonna find any kills with that as the Override Protocol is coming through from Wowzers.
Desperation Station, even the Deadeye expended, and that will find Geo. That has been such a thorn in their side. The DPS being revived like a phoenix gets a double, make it a triple for Wowzers. That was exactly what they needed. Even the Captivating Sun, the pub push, as they say, will secure the team kill and secure the map win.
Ooh, I thought that was about to be a Tracer touch right there. Zenith does get it though, and that was a much closer map than the others have been, even with it being a full hold. That was almost a fuller hold. It really took this Override Protocol here at the very end. It was not looking good for Zenith until it finally was in this exact moment right here. And I mean, yeah, we're in a 5-map series. I can't believe it.
That is wild. We were talking, we showed up a little bit early because we're professional like that. We're like, this one could go the distance. They are just that close. But it's really been more of a slug match than a tactical kind of game here, right? It's just like, okay, we're dipping you on this one, then we get our pick, we'll dip you on that one, and back and forth we go. But now you feel that the advantage is with Fallen Vortex as they have the opportunity to pick the final map. But before they do, we must build suspense, folks. We got to send it to a short break. Welcome back, folks. You are tuning in to the CGL Season 17 NA Masters Tier Round 1 match between UTD Zenith and Fallen Vortex. And Shadow, this has been an absolute fire set. We are going all the way to Game 5.
It really has been, and it's weird. It's one of those weird series where it's been largely uncompetitive, but also competitive at the exact same time. These two teams have just been like smacking each other really hard. Last map was relatively close though, Havana. I know it says 1-0, but it took overtime for Zenith to win that map, so it was a very, very close map. And now if you're Fallen Vortex, all you have to pick from is a hybrid map.
And we were talking during the break, and even before that, at the other break, you were like, they've got to go for Numbani here, force Zenith onto some dive composition, really make their tank line uncomfortable.
Yeah, I do think that's probably going to be the pick. I think you could go with one of the other maps as well. Like, you could go Hollywood, you could go Midtown, Numbani. Maybe I just like Numbani the most. Like, I absolutely despise trying to run Hollywood, just generally speaking. I think, you know, I used to not like Numbani, and then they came out with Paraiso, and I was like, no, Numbani's actually a pretty good map, realistically. So, you know, that's my history of maps on Overwatch.
Fair enough, but it's probably going to be everybody's favorite, mine included, Kings Row. But let's find out. Rhino, unveil the curtain, lift it up for everyone to see. It will be Numbani. Shadow, should I ever doubt you? The answer is no. We are going to go to Africa next.
And I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? The only outlier from what we've seen has been New Queen Street, but that was because I didn't realize Fallen Vortex had a wrecking ball player that would just come in and dominate the server like that. So it makes a lot more sense on these more standard maps to, you know, try and force them to where they can't just sit on the low ground and, you know, play their brawly / pokey play style that we've seen Zenith be very effective on.
Enough. Well, we're going to go to the bans next, but Rhino, before we do, I want Shadow's predictions, because we're not going to go through the whole like 30 seconds we have. They were able to do the bans during the break. Shadow, what do you think these two teams have selected?
Oh my gosh, this is tough. Cass has already been banned. Emery, maybe? I don't know. This is tough because I think Cass was difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Surely they don't ban Sigma on Numbani, right? Surely that's not what we see happen right now. They might ban Winston. I don't know. This is a tough one because I feel like all the things that made Fallen Vortex struggle, they've already banned before. So like it's kind of just like it's kind of going to be like a nothing ban from the side of Vortex.
Okay, I feel like that usually happens once a series. You just kind of ban something from a role just to kind of either preserve it or just kind of whatever. I like the Winston. That's a great shout. They did play it at the first map of this series, right? Not to great effect, but I think when you have to do a dive, if that's the character you have to play, then maybe you hamstring them even further, and then they've got to do something else. Though D.Va still pretty strong, so I don't mind that as well. But Rhino, I think we've paused through what our ban predictions are going to be. Let's throw it up and show the crowd what we've got. It will be the Kiriko, and they did go for the Sigma. What?
I was like, surely that's not what they do, but I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Honestly, just when I sat and thought about it for a minute, and Kiriko, I mean, Kiriko makes sense from Zenith as well. You know, you got to have a Kiriko ban once a series. It's like it's a written document somewhere. Like somebody signed off on it from Blizzard that like, hey, every time you guys ban in a series, you must ban Kiriko at least one of those maps.
Just so that she doesn't get nerfed anymore. They're like, oh, but if you ban her, then she's fine, right? You can't nerf her because you just take her out of the game. So Shadow, I got you. I feel you where you're coming from. So we will be starting soon, but this Sigma ban, so peculiar, especially when you're going for dive. We're going to check one final time. These will be the do or die rosters for game number 5. The winner of this will go to round 2 and face Cosmic Eclipse. Is Wildcard the X factor they need?
Very well could be. I think the more interesting thing is that Sue and Colonel Sanders are staying on their roles from the prior map. right? What's Sue going to be playing if not the Sigma, right? Is Sue the Diva player also? Is that what we're potentially seeing right now? Because I think, especially on this map, you're going to want to mostly be playing Diva.
And I'm seeing a little bunny hopping in the spawn room there. And so, okay, the Sigma ban makes sense, right? Make sure that no matter what, if Sue feels bad and they want to just go back to the Sigma, they can't. They have to then think about something that's more seconds off the board. Then you get uncomfortable. What do I keep bindings again, or whatever it is. For now, though, we will have a Diva v Diva. But is that a little Torbjorn I'm seeing for defense?
That is an unironic Torbjorn that is coming out right now.
Oh, no.
I don't think it's going to last any more than first point. So, like, if it works in first fight, obviously there's no reason to change it. But this is an interesting composition where Fallen Vortex is going for, like, a full poke style with the Diva. So, I don't know. I think I kind of like Zenith's comp, but it's going to be so hard to try and push into all this poke.
I feel like Zenith is going to maybe understand they have this poke, and if they just accrue their ultimate to go for one push with the Nano Blade, that's going to be their win con. So anytime I see this composition, that's what I'm looking for. But immediately on to the point they go, finding out the turret, they sniff it like a bloodhound. But Wildcard will go down, force trouble too deep in the den. Geo strikes gold once more and eliminates the Genji now. Who will be the next one on the chopping block? It will be Brook in this Diva already into pilot form. The lamp has to be utilized to keep them alive. That's a good first push here for the attack.
Yeah, I mean, forcing Diva out of mech that early is really huge. You could potentially get a really good push going here once Wildcard is back. Wildcard also is on that Reaper, immediately gets knocked down to 1 HP, but is going to be able to regroup with their team.
Got some lifesteal, but not enough lifesteal. She does go down. Of course, it's Griffin. I feel like we've blazed this guy too much. I want to talk about somebody else. Shadow, please. Geo, start. Molten Core and everybody are doing something back into the mech. It goes Brook and not a single tick taken. Everybody has retreated back to the turret now, and that will be the 6th member they need. Geo clips the wings of the Echo once again.
I mean, yeah, you're stuck in a really tough position right now. I mean, honestly, you almost need a Symmetra to teleport you onto the other high ground. Like, I almost think it would have been better if Wildcard just walked back on Symmetra and said, all right, everybody, we're just teleporting on top of that Iari right now and just trying to do something. Just trying to cross all this space with Griffin constantly taking somebody down early has not been going well for you.
Dive not coordinated to perfection. It was kind of layered, and so they couldn't burst anyone down. Wildcard touching the point, getting one tick. That's a benefit. Hey, how are you? Good. Saying, hey, how are ya? And now corralling them into this side room. The captive son eating for breakfast. Good morning. And that ultimate will do nothing for you. A desperate bomb laid on the point, but everybody will cower behind the cart, and it will be secured for the team in red.
Yeah, I mean, I got to shout out Colonel Sanders right there, you know what I'm saying? Got really spicy in there, popping that rally, and just getting all those stuns. I really think a lot of that was on Fallen Vortex, just grouping up a little too much in that small room. And as soon as that stun came out, we immediately saw a lot of kills just follow it up. And I mean, just great eats again from Sue, looking like the real Diva player. I mean, it's been crazy so far, just watching them be able to essentially just always be full HP for the most part.
Feeling sublime for Zenith. They want to reach the pinnacle, the final checkpoint, but 2 more to go. The Molten Core, oh, does he have enough in the tank to get it off? Yes! It will be splattered across, but he will go down for it. The new and improved Dire Shots will do just that. Trades in the kill feed, but the Siphon Blaster now to keep Griffin alive. He's been the savior of the team thus far. Can he do it again?
He's going to have to back off quite a bit. Cart is still moving, though. Wildcard does win out that one, but then immediately falls to Geo.
All right, you love the DPS trades. It's like, all right, you take out me, I'll take out you. We keep going back and forth. Wasabi on a great angle here, peppering in the damage, and they have to dump everything to get the pylon down. Defense in prime position, and they're sticking on this Torbjorn Shadow even on 2.2.
They are really dedicated to this Torb, and that's an immediate death with the nano boost. You really hate to lose that nano boost, even though you do have the bomb to rematch.
That was like your win condition, right? And maybe they'll win this outright as the duplicate comes through the bomb. This one is gonna land for 2! Massive from Hey Are Ya Good, able to secure the point, and that will be a team kill for Zenith.
I mean, you know, I always say this about Numbani. I think second point is just a formality. It's very, very rare that people actually get stuck on that point. Zenith did burn a lot of their ultimates to get through that, though, right? They burned the Nano, the Bomb, the Death Blossom, and the Copy. So, like, in this next fight, Vortex does have a good chance of just outright winning it, because all they really have to deal with is Colonel Sanders.
And they can do that with the Amp Matrix, right? Place down a good position, everybody shoot through it. There's nothing the Rally Shield can really do against it. Who dare gets their bio grenade just eaten up like a nice tasty snack, and it's the overriding protocol now from range. But it's what? Sue, a heroic play, denies it, but still opens up the path for Geo to go into the backline and will get one for themselves. Looking to make it too. They find both of the supports. No more healing for the team in red, and Adiva, all they can do is run away. They hold.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great fight coming through from Zenith, honestly. They managed to force out both of the support ultimates and that override protocol. So now this is the fight where you're going to be much more favored in. You have your bomb. You're very, very close to your nano boost once again. I think this could be an instance where you nano boost this Reaper and just allow your D.Va to just dive really hard into the backline.
If that's what they do. I mean, it is a BAP Iliadi, can be a tad squishy, but Wildcard shuffled back into the deck. Brook pulls them out. I mean, my goodness, the Reaper can't find anything, and that will halt this push here again.
I'm sorry, like I couldn't help but just chuckle in that moment, because that pixel, the pixel of that tree was just keeping that pylon alive, and Wildcard just died attempting to shoot it over and over again. I mean, that's just kind of unfortunate, honestly. Like, you know, you really, as the Reaper, you're really expecting that one of your shots is going to hit that pylon, and just none of them were able to hit it, and that's like a crazy spot, actually.
Hey, how are you? Or hey, are you good? Finds the pylon and finds Geo, and can they find even more? Yes, the lamp eliminated. Brook trying to clap back, and it's just Wildcard being a distraction at this point. A bomb layered in will find one. They get the mech in time? Yes! Theory running the numbers and saying, maybe I gotta go back to my tank, but maybe they're going back to the spawn room once again. Brook, the last remaining member to hold the point in place, but the nano boosted D.Va here charging forward once more. Geo, this Vendetta not able to hold a candle to the might of the Korean pilot, and all 3 points secured for Zenith.
And with time too, which is definitely worth noting on a map like Numbani. Is this gonna be the map where we finally, well, we kind of did get to see that on Havana, but is this gonna be the really competitive map 5 that we're hoping for? I mean, it was incredibly difficult for Zenith to break through that first point, but once they did, they kind of just cruised the rest of the way there. They would lose one fight, but Fallen Vortex would like over ult in that fight, and then Zenith would turn around and win the next one because of the over ult that just happened by Vortex. So if Vortex can clean up that little mistake, I think they can really manage to get a full hold on this map. Or not a full hold, but get the cap as well on this map.
For sure, ult economy is so impactful in hero shooters, right? You can't overspend, you've got to win it clean. Breaking news, Talon, what? Not my hometown, Rialto. No, my hometown's actually Rome. I was born in Italy, Shadow, so Rialto's actually a little further north than Rome is. But anyway, but it's the ultimate economy that is so impactful in this, especially in this final map. So let's see if Fallen Vortex can have more discipline as they are on the attack now.
Yeah, looking like they're going to be opting for potentially an Ana Lucio composition, which you're asking a lot of Wabi Sabi. I'm not going to lie to you. You're asking a lot of Wabi Sabi. All right, this is a little bit better, I would say. I still am an Ana Brig believer, generally speaking. so I tend to like that comp a little bit more. But I don't know. I think Gio's going to really struggle to get a lot of value on this Genji, especially going up against Neko.
I was about to say, who is his target? Who is he going after? Is it, when you go after the Ana Brig, it's hard to do. It's got to be everybody focus Sue, and they're doing just that. The purple almost getting them out of mech, but they retreat just in time. The Brig, the pseudo tank, keeping them alive once more. They'll give up some points on the, or space on the point, and another painted in purple once again is Brook. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my words here as the fight is breaking out in a chaotic fashion. Everybody now getting extremely low as the abilities have been utilized, and Griffin sniping from his little hidey hole gets one, who's looking for two, shooting into the Brig. She's got more health on that shield now. He's able to keep the Ana alive, who is in turn helping out the Diva. It's just pure bedlam on the point.
Oh, it absolutely is. This fight is eventually going to go the way of Fallen Vortex, and I mean a lot of it felt kind of self-inflicted to me, if I'm honest, right? Wildcard split just a little bit too far, allowing Brook to get an early kill, kind of like that, but not that exact way. And I mean, you can't. It's kind of the same thing that's been happening consistently for Zenith when they're losing fights, right? Anytime they lose fights, it's just because somebody gets caught out really early. If they just don't get caught out really early, they've been a really good team. Like, I don't know. That sounds like way too simple, but it is also kind of what's happened.
Deck notes, don't get picked first. Okay, coach, got it. I mean, but you're right. We talked about this before. They're constantly losing these trades, and they're down a member, and they can't find any picks, but not down in ultimates. It's Griffin once again. The overriding protocol taking hold, but can he take hold of the server? Is the code strong enough? No. Nobody falls here as he makes his way to the high ground, but Bash immediately is Brook. The rallies traded, and the rallies utilized to no effect as Colonel Sanders is brought to bear. It will be the Nano Blade. We know how good that combination play is, and that's enough to move the cart forward, but not enough to dislodge the defense. There we go, the slice and dice, turning everybody into some nice lunch meat, and there the defense will crumble.
Brooke said, hold on, I got something for y'all. Hold on. Y'all don't know how nice my baby Diva is. Getting back into the mech right there, getting more kills. And that should be the second point captured. As I mentioned previously, second point is just a formality on Numbani. So both these teams just sailing through to the end. 5 minutes going to be here on the clock for Fallen Vortex. Going to take a lot for Zenith to try and hold this.
Man, honestly, that's 2 more minutes. That's like almost another whole ult cycle that the attacking team will have. Fallen Vortex, this is a cheeky angle, but who are they looking for? They want to go for the Genji. They have to get to the health pack. And hey, how are ya? Or hey, are you good? Finding the elimination there that is good for them. And now the rest of the team rallying to their DPS player will push the team in blue away. The attack stifled once again. Wasabi playing up pretty low. Expends the orbital ray. What is this? Just to keep Brook alive. This is a pretty chaotic fight here, utilizing some resources that may be better off saved.
Yeah, you kind of don't want to burn that orbital ray in that instance. Bomb is going to come out. Is it going to catch on to anybody? It does not look like it is, but you have Force Theory into a really bad position, and the Ana is going to go down here as Sue appears to be going to get another kill. Not quite going to be able to. There it is. The kill does finally come through onto Griffin as Zenith holds.
Okay. This is good. They need to, take away as much clock as physically possible. Now they're at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, which is as much as Zenith had on their original attack of third point. Let's see if there's any strategies. I'm looking at the ultimates, and this time the Nano Blade is available. The rally is online to counter it, but here we go. The tried and true combination play is utilized with the rally in response, locking everybody in place, but not strong enough. The DPS duo is damned. Back to the spawn room doors they go. A Nano Boost in response on to Sue. They deadlifted once. Can they do it again? Griffin from the skies, spraying and praying, hoping to find somebody with the overriding protocol, but that will force them into the hidey holes for Gio to take care of a massive fight win for the cart to move forward.
Oh my goodness, that is almost as well as you could have played that Nano Blade. You get the immediate sleep, you pop the rally, you get the stun, but the healing just came through for Geo and saved them. Hi, you are good, does manage to get a kill with that Deadeye. Both supports all already down for Fallen Vortex. So, I mean, great response there from Zenith to just really hold this point.
Defender spawn saved them there. I mean, they were able to crash the point quickly and expend some ultimates, but okay, now we're on this awkward ultimate cycle right now, Shadow. It looks like the Orbital Ray will be the next most impactful one. They'll have to save up for that and then maybe go on in.
Yeah, you could potentially get some really good value out of that Orbital Ray. But you got to make sure nobody gets killed early like that, because as soon as you see a Juno flying around like that, that's free pickings.
Oh, easy for the hit scan player. That is, hey, you are good. Oh my gosh, that name is so difficult. But this is also a difficult attack for Fallen Vortex, and they need to cap the point to send us to overtime and even have a chance at winning this series. We're tied up 2-2. It doesn't get any closer than this. Everything on the line here in the winners round 1.
Good way to start, though. Geo getting that early kill onto the cast of Hi, You Are Good. Orbital Ray is now coming out from Wabi Sabi.
This is massive now. They're stampeding forward. They're utilizing the Ray to great effect. The rally in response. How did he get it back so quickly? But under so much pressure, the shield, will it buckle? No, the Brigitte standing tall amidst the damage, but a knock to the noggin will send them under. It's a bomb to clear some space onto the point. The golden box of victory in sight, but littered in red is the kill feed. And with 50 seconds remaining, does Vortex have anything left in the tank?
Oh my gosh, Colonel Sanders again with the rally, right? That's how they capped first point on their attack, and it saved them right there. It gave them just enough sustain to live long enough to win that fight over. And now they've got a rally, they got Deadeye, they're almost on that override protocol, and they've got a bomb.
Lot of tools to utilize here on defense, but no Deadeye. Now as the DPS duo for Fallen Vortex, they have been the shining knights in this one, or more like the shining gladiators, as Geo back on their favorite character. The Whirlwind of Death will take down who dares. Another nano onto the Diva. It's soon the final remaining member to prevent the cart from moving forward. And oh my gosh, another overhead slash. The La Lupa is on fire, just eating through the competition. Wild card utilizing the overriding protocol to maybe find some picks. They find one, they find two. Brook, the only one remaining member in the overtime wick, is burning. Who is here to push the cart? Nobody. It will be Zenith to take it all.
I mean, I don't even know how that just happened right there. I do know how that happened. That was an override protocol. That override protocol just did so much damage, and everybody just hovered on the cart. That's kind of a moment where a couple of people, you probably need to like back off the cart just a little bit so that not everybody is just getting smacked by that ultimate. But that's tough to do when you're having to force that overtime push. A 5-minute hold coming through on the last point of Numbani for Zenith. And I mean, this is just round 1, right? We still got several more rounds to go. We only could, the bracket is so big in this tier, we can only show you the top part of it because that's how big it is.
So that means these matches, they're just going to get better and better and better. And we have so many different tiers: GM tier, Open tier, NA, EMA, LATAM. We've got everything you could possibly want here at the CGL. So if you're a fan of Overwatch or good competitive esports, this is the place to be. My goodness, Shadow, we wanted this to be a banger, and it certainly was.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way to start off the Masters tier, for me at least. You know, obviously some other matches have been played. I'm not sure if we casted them or not, but this is the tier I expect to be the most competitive when it is competitive. So I'm happy to see it start that way.
100%. So definitely one that, folks, if you have some friends, tell them to watch back, because this is going to be an awesome series to behold. And of course, the tradition here at CGLs, we will have a winner's interview. Got to check the chat here to see exactly who it is. But of course, to get that set up, we do have to go to a short break. So Rhino, take us to it.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Welcome back, CGL fans. It's HD Philly B, it's Shadow Fang, and we just had an absolutely electric series between UTD Zenith and Fallen Vortex. Zenith will be the victor here. They'll move on to round 2 to face Cosmic Eclipse. But Shadow, we have a couple of members from the Zenith squad here. We have Suel and Wildcard joining us. How are you, my friends?
Doing amazing.
We are doing all right. That was one hell of a set. Yeah.
It certainly was. Absolutely. Well, we've got some questions for you. I'll start off first. You both seem pretty calm, pretty level-setted. I mean, we talked about this in the green room, but how do you keep your mental in a series as grueling as this?
I'm not gonna lie, I did like have a fucking crash out after the Queen Street map. I literally had to go out, run with my dog, sit a map out, and just chill.
Yeah, I would say we kind of became calm after we got the win, but the process through playing together, we did kind of get a little heated, and I think some stuff was going around, but I think at the end we kind of pulled through and clutched it up, so I think we're just really
Makes
good.
sense. Yeah, that's kind of how most esports situations go. Comms can get heated, but at the end of the day, you're all teammates and you're just here to compete and have some fun, as long as you know and keep that in the back of your mind at the end of the day. Shadow, I know you got a couple of questions for these two as well.
All right, so my first question is really just revolving around Sue coming in to play that tank role. Are you usually just coming in to play Sigma, or do you also come in to play Diva? Because, I don't know, I was a little surprised at how strong the Diva was on that buy.
So
Yeah, I want to start off with saying, like, throughout the season, I was the starting tank. I was playing tank throughout the whole series until about match 5, where one of our teammates, our support, couldn't play anymore. So I kind of fell back to support because we had no other support. So then the other tank came in, which was Cole Sanders. Shout out to him, he's looking good. And throughout the match, we were kind of just seeing if it worked out, and it was pretty fitting. And we were kind of stumbling a little, and they already banned Sigma, or they didn't ban Sigma, but we thought we tried out. You know, we had a push map or payload map, so we decided to try it out. And then match 3, we just said screw it, and then we put me back on there, or match 5 on defense. So, yeah, I'm kind of all around tank. All around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could definitely see that. Like I said, Numbani was incredibly impressive from all of y'all. It was a great finish to that series. And then, obviously Philly mentioned it a little bit earlier, but y'all are going to move on to play Cosmic Eclipse in the next round. And what are your thoughts on that series?
I'm hyped. We already played them before. I'm looking forward to the rematch. And I'm real friendly with the players there. I actually trialed for one of their teams like a long time ago for the previous CGL season. So I've been real tight with them this whole time. Looking forward to it.
Obviously, coming into this match, they are a higher seed than us, so we gotta understand we are gonna be the underdogs. So we just kind of have a good mindset and kind of just play calm, play well, and then hopefully we can kind of pick it back up and make sure we get the win.
For sure. I just have one. Oh, this is a question for Wildcard. You had to go up against Griffin, who was very lethal in this match, right, on that Emray. Why didn't you ban the Emray at all during the series?
Honestly, I also play Emray, and there was a little bit of just like straight ego there going on, but also I kind of just noticed that he was taking predictable positions, so I kind of just hung on to the hope that we would be able to read it. And towards the end, the team kind of did lock into that, seeing what moves he was going for. We didn't really die to the Emry ult anymore. We were making good rotations, so it worked out. That's what we were looking for.
Am I allowed to add on to that?
Sure.
I want to say on match 5 specifically, playing into D.Va, it was a lot easier to play against Emray. Because like the grenade spams in the back and then kind of like using the ult, it was just kind of easy to defense matrix. And you kind of saw in the last fight when I got nanoed by Hudair, I kind of just dove straight for him and I literally killed him in like 2 seconds. So, I mean, we kind of just recognized that and we kind of just shifted over and we kind of focused him more and it just kind of let us play better without dying. So it was nice.
100%, and that's what I love about these lengthy series, right? Is you have a time to adapt and grow and figure out, okay, what is the win condition here? What's the other player want to do? How do we counter them and develop that strategy? And that's why we love this game so much. So thank you for divulging the way that you evolved throughout this series. Well, to close us out, I do want you both to shout out anybody that you would like. And Suel, I would love to start with you. Who do you want to shout out while you're on the stream?
I'm going to go ahead and shout out 3 people. Obviously, my 3 other teammates, Cole Slanders, Orvin, and Hudair. Those are the GOATs.
Okay, excellent. And then
Wildcard. Wait, I'm sorry. Braxton too. He played a key role in 2 of the games. Braxton, sorry.
Okay. Braxton, you're safe. You're safe. You got the shout out. You're good. Wildcard, what about you?
Nah, ditto on the team, especially Hudair. Unsung Hero, the supports are always clutching it up. But, honestly, I also am streaming out here, and I got some people from Cosmic Eclipse coming in. I got some of my homies coming in. Yo, shout out to my viewers. Like, y'all help me keep my mental in check, Yeah,
it's all about support, and so I appreciate that. Well, thank you both so much for joining us in the booth for the interview. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we'll see you later. With that, folks, we've come to the end of our stream here at the CGL Round 1 playoffs. It's been one hell of a day, Shadow. Your final thoughts before we send this thing off?
I mean, it's playoff time, so we're going to be streaming every single day, most likely. As much as we can get producers and casters online, at least we're going to be streaming. So, just keep an eye on the server pings, follow CGL1. Make sure you're here and tuned in because we are going to have a lot of matches. We try to cast as many matches as possible for the playoffs.
You're right. So you heard Shadow, folks. You know what you have to do. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Find us on YouTube, find us on Twitch, find us in Discord, whatever it is that you need to do to make sure you don't miss any CGL action from HD Philly B, Shadow Fang, Rhino, and Honey Bee. We'll see you next time.